Hello and welcome to this Monex Market update for the US markets for the week ending 8th of July. There's been a lot going on in the markets and we'll get to that in a moment. We're going to look at the sentiment, we're going to look at some of the big name stocks that you're no doubt familiar with. But before I get to all that, I just have to tell you that Monex is licensed to give general advice only. Nothing I say should be taken as personal advice. It doesn't take into account your personal circumstances. Please see the website for a disclaimer and risk warning. Okay, now one thing that I want to show you is the performance of the sectors of the S&P 500 last week. This is really interesting. So there seems to have been a bit of a rotation back into growth stocks. And we can see here the consumer discretionary sector and the information technology sector, IT, both did really well last week. Certainly compared to energy and utilities, even materials, which didn't do so well. But focusing on consumer discretionary and information technology, it's interesting to see what the insiders have been doing in those sectors. And if we look first at consumer discretionary, I found this on Twitter during the week, you can see that corporate insider selling has been at really low levels in consumer discretionary. So the insiders aren't selling. And if we have a look at the IT sector in the S&P 500, looking at the other side of the equation, the insider buying has been really strong in the technology sector. So just interesting to see that those insider moves are reflecting very much what's actually been going on in the market. Okay, so if we now switch and have a look at the broader market, this is the S&P 500, and you can see clearly there that the market has been moving lower for some months now, series of lower highs, lower lows, and sitting below those moving averages. So it's really not looking too good, although it has been trying to put in a bit of a rally the last week or so, but it's still sitting below that first moving average there, which is the 50-day moving average. If we look at the NASDAQ 100, this is the top 100 stocks in the NASDAQ index. Again, you know, it's put in some gains last week, but it is still sitting below that first moving average there, the 50-day moving average. Now that's for the index as a whole, but it's interesting when you start looking at individual stocks within the index. Google, for example, has put in a particularly good performance. It has managed to break and close considerably higher than that 50-day moving average. And in fact, as you know, last week was closing at the highest level for about 2 months. So not looking too bad there for Google. Perhaps a little soon to say that we're out of the woods, but it's certainly looking promising. Apple has some interesting, similar things going on. It managed to break above that 50-day moving average and close. Microsoft has done the same, and Amazon also. Tesla made it above that 50-day moving average last week. So, you know, some of these stocks are looking quite good. As we saw, the technology sector, consumer discretionary sector, both did very well last week. So there are some reasons to be optimistic. People looking forward are thinking maybe now that the increasing interest rates might top out, towards the end of 2022, maybe early 2023. So investors are now looking through that to what may come afterwards, which people are now suggesting maybe cuts in interest rates, looking further ahead, which of course is helping the growth stocks. Now, one thing to be a little bit concerned about when we look at the S&P 500 E-mini futures, we can see already it's starting to slip a little, so suggesting that things may come off a little on Monday. So there are some signs of life there amongst individual stocks. Things are starting to look okay. There's potentially some good moves developing. It's a little bit too soon yet to get too excited. You certainly wouldn't want to put the house on it. And you should also be aware, of course, that reporting season begins for these big US tech stocks next week. So we have to take that into consideration as well. But there certainly does seem to be some opportunity there. If you want to sort of get in early, maybe now's the time. But if you're going to do that, then you certainly should be keeping a close eye on things and perhaps have a predetermined stop loss level. Anyway, we'll have to keep watching it and see what happens. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please like it, please subscribe, leave a little comment. It all helps. If we know that you're enjoying the video, we'll do more of them. Thank you very much. Hope to see you again soon.